10 years ago, she was going through a big change in her life. When she started a new job that was dull and didn't make her happy, she felt lost and alone. The people in her life didn't understand how bad her problems were and were puzzled by her inner pain. There was one night when she was on her way home from a very long day at work. That night, the streets were at least somewhat calm. A ear-piercing boom, on the other hand, broke the peace and quiet. As she turned around, she saw a car coming straight at her. She got ready for the crash that was going to happen. In that scary moment, time stopped. It looked like the world had stopped moving. She felt like the blow was ripping her apart, and she was in a lot of pain. But her world went black just as she was starting to figure out what was going on. She woke up in a hospital with nice people all around her. After a rough time in the hospital, she slowly became awake again. Out of the blue, though, her attention suddenly moved away from her body. From below, she could see the medical workers working hard to save her. It was a strange feeling, but she was fully awake and getting a new view on life. While she lay there, a deep sense of peace and calm washed over her, taking her to a huge, endless world. Being shocked and confused by the mysterious energy that seemed to come from everywhere confused her. She felt incredibly calm and peaceful in her heart, even though her body was sick. This event that changed her life caused a big shift in her outlook. Her spirit broke free from the limits of her body with a rocket-like rise, letting her fly into the sky like a celestial being. As the world around her grew into an endless view, she felt a strong sense of safety and love. Because of this, she could pick up on the smallest details because her senses were so sharp. She danced around this endless space like a free spirit, enjoying the freedom to move as she found her own way to be wise and learn new things. Comforting voice spoke to her out of the blue. It was hard to pinpoint, but the deep peace it gave her was worth a lot. A beautiful and heavenly angel stood in front of her. He was dressed in pure white clothes and held a bright golden sword. As the angel got closer, all of her worries and stresses went away, and she felt a warmth and comfort that she couldn't explain. Guardian Angel stepped forward to introduce herself and led her through a doorway into a huge room that looked like an area theater. The screen showed scenes from her life, from happy times with her family to sad times when she was having a hard time. There were happy ones and sad ones that made her think about how she had behaved in the past. The angel was a gentle figure who comforted and led us as we went inside. After the scenes were over, she was given the chance to choose a different course of action. As she thought about her guardian angel's beautiful wings, she was amazed at the thought of flying through the air. She let out a sigh and decided to do what her guardian angel told her. Together, they pushed through a hallway and into a huge room. She was in the middle of a happy and peaceful paradise. This beautiful place was extra special because of its lush plants, bright flowers, clear sky, and comforting warmth of the sun. In this dimension, where the line between earth and heaven seemed to disappear, she found endless happiness and peace. She felt an intense sense of love and hope, and a soothing energy wrapped around her at the same time. It felt like bliss was wrapping itself around me like a warm hug. As she looked around, she saw a person dressed in a pure white robe with a gold crown. At first glance, she knew it was God. Their eyes seemed to hold the whole universe. With a gentle smile and an outstretched hand, this celestial being invited her to a comforting embrace, which would fill her with an endless supply of love and kindness. Sweetheart, I know how hard things have been for you because God's voice was like a whispered wind. I've been there and seen your pain and suffering for myself. I will always love you, be there for you, and pay attention to you, no matter what. She told God all of her worries and fears, feeling safe and loved by God, because she didn't think her work was important. The reason she was here was something she thought about. After a long time of hearing, God said, "My child, pay close attention. Every person on this planet is important. Getting things done is important, even if they seem like simple tasks like cleaning a building. It takes more than just cleaning to keep a place looking nice for everyone in the neighborhood. Every person's work counts, so no job is unimportant." This realization changed the way she thought about her life and work. By God's grace, she saw how her deeds affected other people. Her mind was filled with a strong sense of purpose, and she started to see the world in a new way. God told her to go back and do her job. Instead of making her sad, this made her want to continue her goal even more. Because God had shown her the meaning of her life, she was thankful. There was no way she could ask to stay because she knew she had to go back and become a better person. She was back in the hospital in an instant after an angel brought her back to Earth. It was like she had jumped through time. It was their only goal to save her, the doctor said. We've done everything, but her heart has stopped, the nurse told the doctor. She felt worried as she looked at her still body. It looked like her fate was slipping away. As soon as the angel sensed her pain, she put her hand on her heart, and the monitor slowly started to beep again. The angel told her, "Return to your body," and her spirit joined her body. She slowly began to hear sounds from the hospital, like people talking and machines ringing. As she slowly opened her eyes, the white walls of the hospital room surrounded her. Her mind was cloudy and her body was tense. "How are you doing?" asked a worried doctor. She could only nod along with what the doctors said because her throat hurt. They told her she had a heart attack and that they had saved her. They told her to stay at the hospital because she was awake but weak and dizzy. She sat alone in her room and thought about everything that had happened lately. As she talked to one of the doctors, she told them about her experience with an angel. At first, the doctor wasn't sure what she was saying, but soon he was hooked on her story. He told her that things had become dangerous during her surgery, which shocked her. He said that he heard an unknown voice telling him to keep going for 2 more minutes. Even though he thought it was a strange medical event, he believed what she said. When she started to feel better, her family and friends went to the hospital to see her and give her the mental support she needed. Also, the doctors and nurses at the hospital did everything they could to make sure she was safe. After a few days, the doctor finally told her she was fine and she could go home. Starting with God for lighting the way, then the angel who helped her get through, and finally the doctor who wouldn't give up. She felt so thankful as she made her way back. The scientific model doesn't always work. After everything that happened, she notes how important it is to take care of her physical and mental health. Because of this, she felt like she had to change and improve herself. With unwavering resolve, she thought that this event would make her life better by giving her a deeper understanding and a stronger sense of direction.